So I'm Ryan, this is Joe, this is Michael, and we are Hoosier Spoon. Camera 1, camera 2, I don't know.
All the cameras.
Do you like it? Do you guys want to spout off? You know?
I got nothing.
No, like that. That's got to get cut.
That's awesome. That's hilarious, dude.
Yeah,
That's a blooper.
We can't do that.
Yeah.
We can't do that. I'm Ryan, and I started 181 Properties in 2018, and these guys joined me along the journey. We had met way previously, and I guess we should probably talk about where we all come from and how we arrived here.
So, I've been in Rensselaer since 1997.
All the way since the 1900s.
1997. Came here to go to St. Joe's to do football and track and get my education. Upon graduation, was hired as an assistant track coach. Moved up the ranks, I suppose, was the athletics business manager, and then St. Joe's closed. So I got into, while at St. Joe's, I taught this guy right here.
Yeah, you did.
So I kind of fell back into teaching after St. Joe's closed and taught business courses at Rensselaer Central, and kind of, ran into Ryan again. When was that? 2000?
It would have been 19 probably.
19
Yeah.
or 20. I don't know. Asked me about, doing some summer work with him, and I was like, sure, I can give you a couple days a week, And then that turned into a full-time gig.
Yeah.
So yeah, almost 3 years now.
Yep. Michael?
Time flies.
Yeah.
I'm a born and bred Hoosier as well. I guess first experience with Rensselaer was from St. Joseph's College as well. Came here and I met Ryan on the soccer field actually as a student athletic trainer, and he was a soccer player who was injured a lot. So we crossed paths quite a few times. But yeah, no, and we were roommates in college and kept in touch after, and I went from St. Joseph's College to the Art Institute of Chicago and studied sculpture, ceramics, went abroad, came back home, and was an art museum curator for 10 years and kept doing art all between the whole time. I mean, I've been around woodworking since I was a kid, always making. That was the only through line that I always kept, was making. I always enjoyed making. So as time went on, after about 10 years, like I said, I wanted to change. So I was kind of workshopping that idea, and Ryan was getting his construction business going, and it worked out really well that he wanted to expand, and I had some skills that I could offer, and kind of took it from there. And that's been, a little over 3 years now, I think. Was it 21? 4? Yeah, going, 3.5, 4.
I'm not a numbers guy. So yeah, for me, let's see. I always enjoyed making stuff growing up and woodworking and things like that. I went to school at St. Joe, met these two gentlemen, and was an art education major, spent some time as an art teacher at some neighboring schools, and ones on other parts of Indiana as well, and got out of that. And during all that, I had contracting jobs and things on the side, or I would go work for a year or two contracting, and then I came back to teaching, and then have the opportunity to start my own business and do contracting, all while having my own art studio and things like that, and really working through some of those things. And with that, these guys agreed to join me for some reason, and so now we're working on other things, and obviously one of them reins the two creatives in and provides some facts that helps keep things rolling. Structure, yes.
Good scaffold.
Yep. And so I think as far as, I mean, we could talk about team dynamics and things and how that makes a good balance for us. And yeah, I'm always been a maker and excited to have some things here that are more geared towards, I guess, more of a creative handcraft, like craft focused, rather than something so large as far as a lengthy building project that takes a long time and has many parts. Even though we're still looking at it from a creative standpoint, these are nice side projects for us to do, and in their own way complete spaces that we work on, or help dress up other spaces and provide tools that are useful to consumers.
I mean, we've had this idea for like making home goods though, like jumping off that for quite some time, right? Because I mean, even this table we were saying, like,
Yeah,
I don't know if that's in the shot. Is that in the shot?
like Joe and I built this table, and when Ryan was having a conversation and like talking out loud about like what this like 181 could expand to be, and I think as a lark, I mean, we were building this and like he came back and we had like branded it, saying it was our first.
That was our
home
first
goods.
branding.
Yeah.
What is Hoosier Spoon?
This is the things we want to do. Like there's to share with other like the homes. We've always talked about the experience of making these houses, these spaces, these kitchens, these baths, all of these things, whether it's from foundation or just remodel. I mean, we always look at all of these other things that are in these spaces, and I remember we've all talked about like, we could do that. Like, why aren't we doing that? Like,
what would top this off?
Yeah,
what would be a nice addition to that? And that was something that when making art, a lot of times I geared towards more functional things when I'm making artwork and with my pottery and stuff. So this is another medium for us to move into that, there's like, you can't, I'm gonna touch them. You can't really make something functional out of clay that's gonna work in somebody's kitchen that will perform that function. So exploring some of the things that we can do with wood that are, viable, tested and trusted, and have a history behind them, utensils, but also things that have a handcrafted element and something that has a modern twist to it and a human element. I think that's a very important thing to us, is the human element. When you pick up something, you can tell it's handmade and not in a bad way.
right.
Yeah.
I say, how do we even come up with Hoosier Spoon? It's going to be what a lot of people ask.
So we were left unsupervised.
I was not there that day.
Working in the shop, and
It was a good pitch, though.
It was a good pitch. It was a solid pitch, and it all came out of slap my face. It all came out of a conversation where we were making cutting boards, because that was our jumping off point, was making the cutting boards. And then we came up with the idea of like, wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if we claimed to have made the world's best spoon?
Yes.
And we're like, well, I think that it loses its luster if you go that big. So you said that to me, and so we scale it down a little bit. What if we just said like Indiana, Hoosier, and then we got around from Indiana, we got to the Hoosier stuff, and what it means to be a Hoosier, and then we're like, well, you know what? I don't want to make spoons. I don't want to make spoons. Yeah, so we should call it Hoosier Spoon, because Indiana knows spoons and not make spoons at all. Nothing's a spoon, but everything's called a spoon. And so we developed that with the folklore of how the enigma of what it means to be a Hoosier and how that name came to be.
Yeah, because we started talking about, like, how did they even come up with a Hoosier? The last I remember, and I think we learned in school, like, they don't know. There's just like 4 or 5, maybe this happened, maybe this didn't, but it's all lore, right? It's all mythology.
Right.
So why not make our own? mythology about how, they weren't saying, hey, who's there? Like some of the lore goes, like they were trying to get their spoon back.
Come again? Yeah. Yes.
Which sounds a lot fun.
And some other skits and stuff from pop culture. But
I think we jumped off that, and then we hadn't really come up with like the full body of the lore. That's the legend that's on the website. But I think then we were like, hey, we have a crazy idea, but we think it's kind of good. And
yeah, because then we pitched it. We're like, hey, harebrained scheme, here you go.
Like, is this crazy or is this crazy?
Like,
good?
or is there something here? Because we're pretty good at coming up with harebrained schemes, and some of them we throw them at the wall and they don't stick, and sometimes they do. And
This one was sticky.
yeah, this one was sticky. So, and then I think we were talking about it like last week that, well, why did we? I went into trying to make jewelry out of wood, and you probably won't see any in the near future.
Some things don't stick.
Yeah. So and 181 Home Goods being a thing, as far as just that being the overarching idea, Home Goods, things to complete the projects that we're building, and nice little touches to include in there. Then we arrived at, we do a lot of kitchen and bathrooms. Okay? So we arrived at kitchen. I think once we got there, then we realized, well, in some way, each of us has a passion for good food, for crafted things, and around the kitchen and cooking and bringing families together.
Right.
And that type of component, just spending time there, and again, all in our different ways. I mean, for you cook a lot.
Yeah, I like to cook.
That's a good answer. Would you care to expound on the things that because you came in with your favorite utensil, and we made
that was
our own version of that.
That was
Well, he made
the
it.
first edition Hoosier spoon.
What was it like when we pitched this to you?
There's a good, yeah.
Like,
It was entertaining, for sure. It was funny. It was entertaining, but I also knew the skills were there to pull it off, right? So it wasn't a crazy idea, as most would probably think.
there's a lot of crossover of skills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm like, yeah, let's do this.
I think we both went and bounced things off of our wives.
Yeah.
My wife being a full-time cook at a local restaurant, and your wife spending a lot of time in the kitchen crafting things and
She is
baking.
an amazing cook.
Yes, she is. So,
She is.
yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Half Italian.
Yeah, unanimous vote.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we defer a lot to their advice on what is valued kitchenware-wise in the kitchen, especially, and
Yeah.
then like our own twists and things we want on it. Like, we've all had to pick up utensils at some point. You know what feels good and bad in your hand. Like, So I mean, those things, but also just the utility meeting the function, and that meeting the form, trying to make sure we've got something that looks our own. But I mean, what I enjoyed about like this whole idea is that so many things, like when we looked up Hoosier, they mean a lot of the same things that we want to do with our projects, and also with Hoosier Spoon, like genuine
Yeah.
things, well-made things, sincere things that, while it can have a good time and be funny like we are, but at the same time, like, there's no question about the quality of it, which is
Right.
something that I know a lot of Hoosiers take seriously.
Well, and I think that one of the ideas behind going with Hoosier is that quality of authenticity, that if you talk to people from other states that have met Hoosiers, that have spent time here, they come here and like, dude, just that, everybody's so genuine and nice and like that. So that we wanted to bring that quality to what we were making, and make sure that we communicate that through our stuff. And we're using hardwoods, some of them we're using hardwoods, and some of them are sourced locally, and it floats. but and you see the pile behind us. I mean, literally, like I can walk to where I got some of these logs from and source them, because my neighbors that are farmers had a tree down and was in their field and they needed it gone. So there we go. So some of it being, green and earth friendly and not spending a bunch on transport and having to go to a big box store and pick things up. I mean, I don't know if that'll always be the case, but as much as we can incorporate those things, that's something that we would like to do.
Yeah. And everything so far has been made, I mean, it's nothing stock wood that we've bought from somewhere else. Like, it is taken from
Right.
timber to product.
And that
Here.
that provides a lot of variety too,
Yeah.
to what we're doing. Yep. So then we make the stuff, and then we go, hey, we made things.
Help.
What do we do?
Little help.
So that's the safety net of help us with my brain no good here.
Yeah.
And help us carry this a little bit further and make sure we execute on those things and we're reaching potential people for this stuff.
So I feel like every maker can probably relate to the fact that the making sometimes can be dwarfed by the process of getting it out to the people. And Joe has stepped in to help us quite a bit with that. From the business aspect and website part and the back end and keeping track of those things, which has been really nice because you can't just leave creatives alone and expect things to get out to the world, right? Exactly. We'll get most of the way sometimes, but we need, and that's, I think, a good balance.
Yeah.
Structure, unstructured business.
So like spreadsheets.
Yes.
I know, and I'm like, no.
Inventories are
What are
just
these boxes? It's just a page full of boxes. I don't want to touch box. No. Box here. So yeah, why are we qualified? I don't think we overtly said, or why are we qualified to make
anything.
Someone let us. No. Yeah, what makes us qualified to produce these things?
You're both looking at me. Am I starting?
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
Sweet. I mean, I was raised in a garage in a shop. I've been working with hand tools my entire life. My dad was the guy who, if he would get a thing or buy a thing and there were any kind of instructions, he would never read them. Instead, he would pass them to me and say, build it. And that was my childhood. So I thought everybody did. That's just what it was. And that's how you learned. And so, like, yeah, funny thing is, nobody around me reads fucking directions at all. So I do. I'm that guy. I read this stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody else does.
Yeah.
I do
But yeah.
sometimes.
No, fucking no, you don't. It literally just happened this morning. Or no, was it yesterday? Or the day before?
I
last time
will
was here.
refer to the Cliff Note pamphlet that they
Yeah.
included with this package if I need to. But
Oh no!
other than that,
On the site on Friday, we have a new tool, newish tool. I read the directions the first day it showed up. It's for pocket screws, and he looks over at Joe and he goes, "Hey, can you explain how this works to me?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, did you read the directions?" And they both said no, and they tried to figure it out until the directions got pulled out finally.
Yeah.
And then we figured it out.
Yeah.
Science,
Have you ever done this before?
and it worked out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
anyway.
the question.
I said,
have you
hey,
ever used it before?
Yeah,
I was
you ever
like,
use
yeah.
this? So you want to help me out?
Yeah.
How do I? Oh, you just clamp it here and clamp. All right, cool. I got it. Three quarter. It'll be fine. It's just a custom cabinet that's completely custom for this, over 100-year-old home.
And it worked.
It'll be fine.
And it worked out.
Yeah.
But that was a tangent. But yes, so I've always been a builder, always been a maker. Like I said, went through St. Joseph's College in the arts program, graduated from there, also went to the Arts of Chicago as an actual, I would say, trained artist then in some ways, but then always kept working in ceramics and wood specifically, building. Was in charge of all the exhibitions, so that involves a lot of building of everything from pedestal to repairing walls to building the walls to Ryan helped me with an outdoor exhibition where we made an entire zoo in the side of the museum. In
Out of upcycled materials.
Yeah. everything was found by the artist. So we made I think it was a 20 animal enclosure
Yeah, I mean, some of those materials, the only way for those things to go was up. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's always just been part of my life making, with ceramics and wood specifically. But yeah, no, I've always found that crossover between ceramics, which was my first artistic kind of love. That wood has the same warmth, feel, body, everything about it. It's, I don't know, two sides of the same coin, in my opinion. So that's just always kind of been where it's at for me. And I enjoy some of the tedious things that you have to do for doing these handcrafted items. A lot of them will drive other people insane, I've found. But it's one of those things that I enjoy doing.
Well, I mean, and just the research of different things. And as we get into this some more, we are researching not just for ourselves, but we're researching for, hey, somebody else is interested in this.
Right.
So now how do we look at that process and how do we say, all right, that's the product. How do we make this our own and backpedal to what is that person looking for that uses this in a very specific way, in a very skilled way, and designing things around that, not just, some of the things are, this is what I want.
Yes.
Like for me, the left-handed, this is what I want. I want a thing that is left-handed sometimes. I want my tool.
In a right-handed world, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, making some things that are either ambidextrous or designed for certain handedness for enhanced features.
Next.
I don't know. I like to make stuff. And I think that comes from, even with pottery and everything, researching the pottery and different cultures and how they're being used and the shapes of those bowls, plates, whatever, those forms, what they look like and how that informs the function. Really, that's a crossover skill, I think, taking that knowledge and also how do those two things interact together. And I think that wooden utensils and pottery, they've been a part of culture for a very long time. It's not, it's not a silicone piece that's newer in as far as its place in the home.
Right.
So paying attention to that stuff and still making it viable for today's kitchen as a quality product is something that I enjoy, that challenge of kind of trying to figure out. And then you get to figure out how to make it hit a price point that's attainable, because sometimes we take a long time.
Handcrafted takes time.
Yeah, yes it does. Yeah. And so what are your qualifications?
I have lots of patience.
That is a main qualification.
Yeah, that's
the biggest one.
And
Quite honestly,
the biggest qualification.
Yeah. I hear a lot of okay.
Big sigh.
Yeah, that is a quote.
Yeah.
I've been around business and numbers and money for my entire adult life, I suppose. Any of those at any given time. Even going back when I was a kid, I ran my own business.
Of course you did. Of fucking course.
Yeah. I mean, I've been by those things too. I just probably, I probably wasn't paying attention to them sometimes.
I bet he actually turned in his taxes though.
I turned them in.
Not as a kid.
Yeah.
Not as a kid.
As a kid. Oh,
I didn't make enough.
No, I'm ashamed.
And of course you knew that you didn't make enough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like,
Of course not.
14-year-old.
I had a
That's why you got-
mowing business.
That's why you got paid
I just
cash.
mowed.
See what I mean? There it is.
Yeah. That's why we're in good hands. Yeah, carry on.
But I did actually start reporting
I fucking knew it.
when I was younger because well, you have to in order to invest in IRA.
Oh yeah, because I was thinking about that at 16. Well, I was. So this is why he's in charge of the numbers. Of course.
So numbers. That's
Numbers.
That's my qualification.
Patience.
Patience.
I
And
go with
numbers.
patience again as he busts my balls.
Oh
And
man,
numbers.
that is good. That is good.
No, it was not implying that you don't pay your taxes now. It was that he did it like a child's age.
I just want to clarify.
Just so we know. And sure enough, that shot in the dark paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know me well.
Apparently, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, I think at the core of it, I would love for people to actually look at Hoosier Spoon and like things we do. Just like the legend, it's got a bit of fun about it, right? Like, and it's not a tongue-in-cheek that makes fun of the person. Like, I want people to feel in on the joke. But at the end of the day, feel like they're in good hands when they trust us, because that's what it is when somebody buys a product, especially a new business product, right? You're trusting them. And we like to have a good time, but we don't like to make bullshit. Like, we make things that we're proud of. And so I think at the end of the day, we're doing a thing we like. We want to share it with other people. We really want to be part of people's homes in a way that is impactful, I think, in a way that nothing would give me more pride or joy than to know that the things we've made here are in somebody's home and they're enjoying them for years to come, for, you know, holidays, when all of the Hoosier things we talk about. I mean, we've developed a lot of these products and the things we're going to be doing in the future based on Hoosier traditions, like casserole dinners, July 4th, you know, cookouts, things like that.
Product's so good, you'll put them in your will. Yeah.
What a tagline. Product's so good, your in-laws are going to steal them from you.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the whole thing.
but yeah, that's what I would like.
Yeah.
No,
And
that's good.
That's all you're going to give me.
Yeah. I can't be too sappy.
that's good.
So good.
What he said. Yeah.
Ditto, man.
Yeah.
Can't really pass the baton if you're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Take the baton.
So no, I think in what do we want out of these products? We like good juju. You know, you pick it up and
Yes.
and it feels nice. It feels like you have some sort of connection to that, and you have some sort of good memory from using that, looking at it and it presenting well in your home, and like you said, just I think the reason that we like to have a good time and we joke about it is because we do believe in what we're making.
Yeah.
So therefore we're relaxed about what we're making because it's a product that we believe in 100%. And if we were not genuinely concerned about it, it would be a lot more of a tense transaction, as far as trying to convince somebody that this is the best product or whatever like that. If you don't like it, it's not for you. It's not for you. But if you do, we really hope that somebody appreciates it and uses it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, anything that I'm making, I make it in a way that I would like for it to be in my home too. Like, I would never make a thing and send it out the door that wasn't as good as something that I would be happy with in my own home.
Yes.
Which is not how all things are made, but they are here.
And I think that speaks to a lot of all the other things that we're involved in as a team as well. So, yes.
My name is Joe.
My name is Ryan,
My name is Michael.
and we're Hoosier Spoon.